What is the deal with do-it-yourself websites? Like, come on, people. Don't you have anything else better to do with your time?
You think you're Seinfeld or something? Look, your mic's not even plugged in.
What is the deal with husband-wife combos?
Hey, I'm Erin DeWolf.
I'm Sean DeWolf. We're both with WEB321. So what's the deal about do-it-yourself websites? Like, why?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people are, looking for ways to get online quickly and cheaply, and it seems like a DIY website would be a good solution.
Yeah, it seems like a good solution, but I don't know if it really is.
So we're talking about things like Wix, Weebly, Squarespace, GoDaddy, all these DIY drag-and-drop website builders that are all the rage these days. What do you think about them, Sean?
I think they have good and bad points, and I think the good points, if your sites are set kind of to a little bit small, they can be great for you. But if you're trying to do something significant, you may outgrow them. You may start off by having outgrown them on your first day. So let's start with the pluses. Like, what are the good sides of doing a DIY web builder like a Weebly or Wix or Squarespace or one of the other ones?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, they're easy to use, quick to learn. That's a plus.
Yeah. They have a reasonable price point. Wix starts off with a free version, a $5 version. You never get above $100 a month in Wix. Squarespace similarly has some pretty low price points, as do other ones. And they're all denoted by being very economical. Like, most have drag and drop templates where they give you the whole design ready-made, and you just have to start to fill in the blanks with your own assets, your own text, your own details, your own images. And then your own sort of what you're talking about, what pages you set up. So, out of the gate, those are pretty easy to work with because they give you a lot to start from.
Exactly, and there's no coding required. So basically, if you can use a word processor, you can use one of these drag and drop web design tools.
Yeah, they help you get online really fast. So that's the plus.
And they can be fun to do if you do have some spare time and you want to learn how to do it yourself.
Exactly. If that's all you got to do with your days and you want to have some fun, have some fun. So what are the cons? Like, what are the downsides? Why is not everybody doing DIY web builders? Well, for one, you're restricted to the templates they use. And with those templates, it's take them or leave them. You have to use one of them. They talk about having 300 designs. Well, you've seen the internet. There's more than 300 designs out there. So chances are you want something that may not fit in one of those 300 designs.
Mm-hmm. They have limited design choices and customization, so it may be tricky to get something that really accurately matches your brand and the look that you want for your site. And also with some of them, for example, Wix, once you choose your template and start building your site, you're stuck with that template. If you want to have a new template for your site, you got to build the whole thing all over again.
Yeah, and they don't allow as much creative freedom. So open source products, everything in there is changeable, from the code that runs it right up through to the look and feel of the front end, everything in between. And you don't have that option if you're going for something like a DIY web builder. On top of that, they're not good for complex sites. The more complex you get with your website, the more exceptions to the rules or specific stuff about your process, your unique selling proposition may never fit into a DIY builder.
And also some of them have a limit to numbers of depth, like
how much navigation? So they only have 2 levels.
Yeah, 2
your
levels
top
of
and
navigation.
Your one inside.
So that means that if you wanted to have a heading and then a subheading and then some subpages below that, you're out of luck with these builders.
Exactly. Now the big thing that is really important beyond just the look and feel is the SEO, the search engine optimization capability. Some of them are just not good at all, but all of them have shortcomings, and these are problems that you'll encounter when you're trying to rank for your website. You go, why is my website like 18th millionth on the web? And it's in part because you're hamstrung by what they do and don't let you have. They, from an architectural standpoint, they limit some of the speed because it's cheaper to perform things one way, but it's better to perform them the other way. And in some cases, they just simplify it because if they're giving it something that's do-it-yourself and it gets a little complex, then it's no longer do it yourself, so it's no longer satisfying. But the side effect is your website isn't going to rank well. It isn't going to be found.
Exactly. And with tools like WordPress, which is what we use to build all of our sites, there are plugins that you can get that really drill down on optimizing your SEO in every conceivable way. And you just don't have that option with these drag and drop builders. I wanted to mention that talking about plugins, most of these sites do have like a certain number of additional modules that you can add to your site to give it functionality, but nowhere is going to come as close to WordPress, which has thousands of third-party plugins for every conceivable function that you want your website to perform.
Yeah, and on top of having those thousands of plugins, you can build more. You can engage somebody to build something custom that's just perfect for your work. And that's something that's just plain impossible with DIY builders like Wix and Squarespace and company.
And that's really the joy of open source, and WordPress is an open source product.
Page load time is really important. It's a search signal for Google and company and other search engines. And if your site is slow, sluggish, or has some sort of blockages in how fast it comes through to the end user, Google and company will pick up on that, and when they do, they're not going to reward you. So DIY builders are often a little bit flat on that topic. Some of them are just like Wix are very much slower than something like WordPress, and WordPress can be tuned to be so fast that it just can beat all of these done right.
And you may have noticed that when you are surfing the web and you go to a website and it takes a few seconds to load, you might just go elsewhere, because people don't have a lot of patience waiting for sites to load these days, and that includes yours.
Yeah, when it's not up, it seems like it's forever, and that forever can be very subjective, and somebody can see that it's maybe only really 4 or 5 seconds. But that 4 or 5 seconds, they've gone.
And I think we should talk about one more very important thing, which is that these sites are proprietary. So you build on their platform, and that is the only platform you can use. If you decide that you are not happy with the number of modules and services that are offered by your platform and you want to go elsewhere, you are going to be having to build your whole site over again.
So the really big thing to think about when you're doing DIY is the why in DIY is you. And that means you're asking the question, is your time worth money? And nowadays, businesses more than ever have to find a way to be smart with their money and smart with their time. And that means that they may have to they may be so scrimped for budget, they may say, well, you know what, I'm going to stay up late. I'm going to lose my weekends. I'm going to learn this DIY builder and make it myself. And darn it, I may be a lawyer or an accountant or an orthodontist, but this weekend I'm going to be a web designer. And then you're going out there and leaning on that. And, flip the tables on that. Imagine if a web designer just said, darn it, this week I'm going to be my own orthodontist. Is that really, does that sound like a good idea? Like, the jeopardy is less with an orthodontist being a web designer and worse with a designer trying to do dental work.
Yeah.
But both of them are using their time poorly. And that's what a DIY builder does, is it lets you try to become an expert in a field that you may just not really be keen on getting into. And if you're not keen on getting into it, why get into it? Why say you're going to sink the time in? Why are you going to make something that could look all right, but may not? Could be missing something really pivotal, and then you're just blind to it because you're missing that piece of what you need to bring to the table.
Yeah, most business advice that I hear today really talks about how you should do what you love and what you're good at and what brings you in money, and everything else, consider outsourcing. So there definitely will be people who would enjoy the challenge of building their own website, who have the time to learn the skills you need to build and maintain your own website. But there are people who may think about it and realize, I really need some expert help in this.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we come in. This is our shameless plug moment here. And it's our shameless plug, but what we do is web designs, and we know that people are facing the DIY option because of budget primarily. Maybe they do have a burning passion to develop a website. They're probably being driven by budget. And we do know that most conventional web design houses do charge upfront, and the price points can be fairly significant. And what we've come up with is an alternative. With WEB321, the 321 in that name implies that we are charging our clients $321 a month to build a website for them, keep it maintained, hosted, taken good care of, and keep it in good working order, as well as keeping it really at the top of its game. So the best part about that is instead of facing down $5,000, $10,000 of design fees, you're instead looking at $321 a month for the time you're with us. And then we take care of everything for you. We design a great site. We keep it in good working order. We make sure it keeps with the trends, keeps with the advents of what's going on out there, keeps in the game, because we're experts and we're asking that you leave this web design to us, the experts.
Exactly. And whenever you need something done on your site, like an update, all you have to do is send us an email and we will get it done for you. And you can move on to, whatever value building you need to do on your business, whether that's sales or putting braces on someone.
So, if you want to contact us, web321.co. Web321.co is our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram handles. You can email us, contact@web321.co, and you can phone us, 1-844-4-WEB321. And also, you can leave a comment in this thread here because we're posting this on YouTube. So feel free to throw us a comment about what questions you had about DIY web design, what we do as an alternative to DIY web design, and what you need to know or what problems you may be facing now that you've gotten a little bit down the road with DIY web design.
Yeah, we're always happy to help.
Thank you.